Let's talk about California Asians while I cut strawberries for a chocolate cake. I've seen a lot of videos about how California Asians just radiate a different energy, and I wanted to talk about my experiences as a California Asian. So I grew up in California. I wasn't surrounded by other Asian people growing up, unless you count my family. I didn't grow up in an ethnic enclave like the 626 or a K-town, and the community I grew up in the schools I went to were primarily full of white people. It wasn't like I was outright shoved or pushed or spit on. It kind of was more like a soft power, something that's subtle and nuanced, but it just makes you feel like such an outsider. Like, you're so different and exoticized. It's really like you're a perpetual foreigner to the people around you. And I don't think the people around me were being malicious. You don't know what you don't know. I would bring in a Vietnamese dish called tikka for lunch. Even the teachers at school would single me out. At lunch, they're asking me, how do you eat it? What is it made out of? Who eats it? How is it made? Saying things like, wow, I've never seen this before. It's so blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, I'm 7 or 8 years old at the time, trying to explain all this stuff to a 40-plus-year-old middle-aged teacher, all while the other kids around me aren't being questioned like this, and they just get to, sit normally and eat their lunch. Aside navigating that as a 7 or 8-year-old, heartbreaking to think about how your parents are taking the time every day to make a homemade lunch for you, knowing that when they first arrived in the US, they dealt with food insecurity, so many other things too. Both your parents working full-time can't pick you up after school, or people seeing your grandpa speak Vietnamese to you when they pick you up after school. The people around me when I was growing up just couldn't fathom that you'd have a different experience than them.